I feel highly honored and privileged to address this auspicious occasion of one of our vital organs of our colossal party ZANU-PF, the Youth League, which is undergoing a critical induction process being conducted by the Herbert Chitepo School of Ideology. I want from the outset to recognize and applaud the Commissariat Department for prioritizing this workshop in spite of the ongoing agricultural season. This workshop was to have taken place last year. I think many speakers have already alluded to that. And in any case, we intended to hold this workshop before our National People's Congress in October last year. I thank the Youth League for their cooperation in this endeavor and for the eagerness to learn the ropes of our organization. I think the eagerness to learn is very, you can touch it, and that is how it should be. Let me from the outset congratulate members of the National Executive Council of the Youth League assembled here for your election to lead the Youth League for the next 5 years. I also congratulate Comrade Machakaire, a person I've known for some time, for his appointment into the Politburo to lead the Youth League as its National Secretary. Congratulations, all of you. This induction workshop is a prerequisite to the Youth League's fulfillment of its constitutional mandate of being the vanguard of the party. You are the vanguard of the party, which also means that you are being groomed to be the future leaders of this party. You are already leaders, but we are grooming you to be at the top. It is aimed at arming the young leadership with the requisite leadership skills and character to steer the wing in a direction that is in sync with the party's values and ethos. We are highly expectant as a party that this learning process will aid in giving direction to the League through engaging in self-criticism, cultivating tenacity for your work, pursuing truth, and being practical and realistic in your plans and programs. Discipline is of paramount importance and highly expected from the ZANU-PF Youth League gathered here. We expect nothing but a disciplined youth. Even uri baba, haungasiri nhaka yako, zvinokushungurudza kuona vana vako vari zvidhakwa, unotoona kutoti apa hapana icho ndinosiyira. Tinozviziva isu akasiyirwa zvitoro nemadzibereki wavo. The following day vakatanga kutengesa capital stock. Hatidi muZANU-PF nhaka yakadaro. Tiruda kuti tigutsikane kuti apo tinenge tisisipo musangano wedu unoshandira vanhu unenge uri in good hands. Since the Youth League is the vanguard of the party, I know you are quite aware that this year is a year of historic elections, where the youth are at the center stage of the elections as they constitute, in demographic terms, more than 65% of the voting population. This workshop should therefore be used as a solid foundation to prepare you in coming up with effective youth mobilization strategies ahead of the 2023 harmonized elections. The Youth League should be acquainted with all the electoral processes, especially the ongoing delimitation exercise. And you must put the party in an advantageous position of attaining the much needed 5 million votes plus for the president and for ZANU-PF candidates. You should also be aware that the party's strategy is to garner the 5 million votes plus. So I want to emphasize that every vote is important, including that which you think does not support you. And in fact, your focus, your strategies should be to try to woo that vote and to get strategies that will make you achieve that. Sometimes whenever I feel lost or I entertain doubts ideologically, I always refer to the national anthem for guidance and direction. And this is a tip that I wanted to give to all of you. The national anthem from the first stanza, I just want to quote the following. Yakazvarwa nomoto wechimurenga, neropa zhinji ramagamba, tidzivirire kumhandu dzose. What this means is that we should know that Zimbabwe's freedom did not come on a platter. Further, that we should at all times, in a scientific manner, identify who the enemy is. The enemy is always a habit of changing, mutating. 30 years ago, the enemy was 30 years ago, it may not necessarily be the enemy today. And in order to fight your enemy, you must identify him correctly. Otherwise, you fight people who are not your enemies. So it's very important that you identify the enemy in a scientific manner. Having identified him, the Youth League should play its rightful role as the vanguard of the party, and like the role they played during the liberation struggle, the current youth should defend the party and the revolution against current enemies. From the second stanza of the national anthem, I quote the following words: Washandi ngavatuswe, ruzhinji ngarugutswe. What this means is that our ideological rooting as a mass party is driven by the principle of gutsa ruzhinji. If we remain people-centered as we are, we should never go wrong ideologically, and we should never lose elections. In all that we do, our bearings should be what do people say, and what do the people want, and what are their needs, and how best can we serve their needs. There is therefore urgent need for the Youth League to embed this principle of gutsa ruzhinji in the execution of its mandate. From the third stanza of the national anthem, I want to quote the following. Newatungamiri wawe nenduramo. Nduramo, we are exhorting you to be exemplary leaders. What do we mean by leaders being exemplary? In the context of our current situation, it means, and I'll just want to quote you a few examples. It means if you are a mukorokoza, which is legitimate, because the government is given the environment, which is why the korokozas now are contributing to gold output more than the official mines. So it's official. But if I am korokoza and at the same time is ZANU-PF, a youth, you should not criminally raid, RAID, mining claims of other makrokozas. That is corruption. And the party would have nothing to do with you. ZANU-PF will disown you, irrespective of your party position. 2, ZANU-PF youth, we should not have any ZANU-PF youth participating in armed robberies. There's been a spate of armed robberies. ZANU-PF should not be party to that. Ways to do so while masquerading as representatives of the Revolutionary Party. It will be very sad. You give the party a bad name, you give the president a very bad name. You should not, and this is, I'm just hacking on points already made. You should not, as ZANU-PF youth, participate in peddling drugs, Mutoriro. Also, you should not, as a ZANU-PF youth, be a land baron. You should not, as ZANU-PF youth, collect money, and this is something that affects my department, a sector for finance. That again is behavior we should condemn unreservedly. If you collect any money, or if you are given any money or any resources for the party, should account them to the party. As ZANU-PF youth, you should not use the opportunities that you sometimes may have had, or photo shoots with His Excellency the President, and you then use those shots, photos, to intimidate the population. Kana kumisa doro, kana nditengere doro, and to commit even various crimes. In short, pasi ne name dropping. Pasi ne name dropping. Don't create the impression or perception that the bad things you are doing or perpetrating have the sanction of the president. You are putting not only the party, but also the president into disrepute. That should not happen.